All right, I'm getting the hang of this now. That's over there. What? I don't know about that, but oh, I don't know if I'd call myself a ninja. I appreciate that, but that might be a little bit more than my current abilities. Live chat's currently unavailable. Oh, why? Okay, let's just. Okay. Oh, I'm live. Hello, everybody. That's better. Imani, I'm in a meeting. I can't talk with you. I already talked with you today. All right. Let us share our screen. I just want every YouTube person here to know I am struggling with the chat right now. So if you send a chat and you don't hear me respond, I'm just struggling with having it on the screen. All right, I guess that's fine. Okay, so let's briefly just discuss what study is, and then we'll kind of go into working on it a little bit. So the way that Clubhouse is, well, a couple years ago, DMH had a push to make all the clubhouses accredited. So in line with the 38, 37 standards, um, this self-study protocol, come on in. This self-study protocol is a way for us to identify what we're doing well. It's all fact finding. It's a place to talk about deficits, like, but not in a negative way. This is something that will go to the people who are going to do our accreditation, the team of a member and a staff, and it will inform them of what to look for when they come here. So putting things in here that might seem negative is okay because we're just telling the truth. Whole truth, nothing but the truth kind of situation. And if you feel strongly that something that is the way it is isn't that way, or that you wish it wasn't that way, that's an opportunity for us to work harder in that area. One thing we identified as being an issue when we first started doing this was outreach. And since then, we've really changed and increased our outreach. And that's something we can note in here. That's something I did note in here, that we've worked on that. The other piece of the accreditation is this thing called the CPQ, which is a Clubhouse profile questionnaire. And this more talks about like demographics. It asks questions about the staff and salaries. This is much more data rather than like opinions about the way things are running here at the Clubhouse, which is kind of what's going on in the self-study. So we've done a lot of it. You want to look at it? And so that one is a little bit less finished compared to this one, just because that's data that we can get from Steve, though. We can email Chelsea Rich, Steve Lemasters, administrative assistant, and have her pull some data for us. So with the self-study, it comes in sections. So the introduction section here, you'll see that, Nicole, we're looking at the board. Do you want to pull your chair over here so you can see it?
Sorry.
No, I just want to make sure you can see the board. Yeah, well, that's life.
Can I keep my cookie?
You can keep your cookie. I just want you to be able to see the board.
Okay.
You got it? There you go. Now you can actually see what we're working on up there.
Okay.
All right. That's fine with me. Perfect. So this introductory section just talks about our Clubhouse, how old it is. Obviously, we just had our 35-year anniversary. This question is interesting. Total membership since opening. Do you have data like that? Okay, so we just leave it, you think?
Yeah, we can say NA. We just don't know.
So the CPQ might require a number. I'm not sure how we would find out that number.
Yeah, because you'd have to go through and find out all the people that have been discharged. Like, you don't have to list it that.
And in 1990, they probably weren't keeping this on computers.
Oh.
So
I know the one for Alliance House, they just said thousands. I'd say we've had at least 1,000. So I've been putting everything in red just because as someone who reads these reports, it can be confusing with all the data. So next it asks about our 90-day active membership. Like I said, this is data we'll have to get from Steve. Do you have information on our young adult membership from our last DMH review?
what kind of information?
Like how many young adults?
Yeah, how old are you?
No, but we might get that on
I think like
next month.
Cammy
Or
or maybe
The utilization.
Chris are the only people under the age of 25 here.
It's not 20. Well, oh yeah.
How they're, what age range they need for young adults?
This here it says 18 to 25, which I think is probably much lower than what we would consider our young adults.
6, maybe.
Yeah, at most, I would think.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
So
25. I wouldn't think of
Chris
25.
is only going to
he just turned 25, so I think he's still he's counted.
Anybody younger than that,
Cammy. I mean, we can go through the list and figure that out, but that seems to be a thing that we need to find out.
Well, let's do that right now.
Ainsley, yep. Anyone else we know who lives in Tay?
Uh-oh.
Did your pop socket pop us off?
No, that was before.
Oh, I was
I'm
like,
waiting for a case to come. The front's cracked.
Oh.
It's not the
Ooh.
phone. I'm waiting for my case. My case will be here tomorrow.
so in lieu of doing that, let's talk about. So these are the recommendations we received last time they came. So 3 years ago, these are the things that they wanted us to fix. So we recommend that membership is open to anyone with a history of mental illness unless that person poses a significant and current threat to the general safety of the clubhouse community. So last time they were here, we had 2 very long intake forms, intake 1 and intake 2, that were pretty invasive. They had a lot of different questions that just weren't required. So I mentioned here that we got rid of those. Do we feel like we're pretty much open to anyone with a history of mental illness now? Do we feel like there are still any barriers that we should mention?
I think we're pretty good on that.
You know, I felt like anything except for autism.
You can come here and have autism. You just also have to have a
But also,
diagnosis. You have to have a mental health diagnosis. That's just the rules of the clubhouse, is you have to have a mental health diagnosis. Okay, great.
Wait,
So-
autism doesn't count as mental health diagnosis?
It's not a mental health diagnosis. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we develop it.
So services for autism are generally covered under DDS, Department of Developmental Services, rather than under DMH. Not saying there aren't people who receive DMH services that have autism, but it's just a different category. So we recommend that members at their choice be involved in the writing of all records reflecting their participation. We no longer do progress notes. Is that accurate? And nobody's ever had an issue with that? All right. Great. And then the action plan, do you feel like I feel like, you know, the new system we have in there kind of helps people be accountable, you know, keep us on track with intakes and all the records that are being written.
Events on the board, I need to
Cheeseburger
go in there and really put,
salad.
you're talking about going to the intake office, like, I need to put like action plan stuff on there.
Yeah, who's due, and you know, maybe that's something we can talk about at unit meeting too, is bringing up, maybe we can maybe we can figure out a way that we can list that, even if we use this for that. Like, I mean, I don't know, like,
Yeah, maybe.
I think we can get creative so that everybody can be more involved, because I
7 young adults,
What? 7?
2 of whom are never here.
That's all right. I feel like 25 is young to be considered, like, I feel like I'd go 30, but
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like transitional age youth as a term. I've seen used for like 16 to like 30, and like that's like a
Yep.
wide range.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even go that far. I'd go like 18 to maybe like 21, 22.
Yeah.
You know, anything
Well,
after
20
that, I wouldn't really consider you a young adult anymore. Like, you're an adult.
it's more about the challenges that are specific to that population. So with people under 26, those people can still be considered on their parents' insurance, which is different than someone who's older than that. So it's the categories aren't just like name, it's more about the types of support that the people in those categories might need, if that makes sense. So like someone who's like elderly, someone who's like 70, 75, they'd also have different needs, like navigating Medicare, getting into elderly housing, maybe dealing with like care attendants. It's not anything wrong with being a young adult or an, it's just the way that aging works. How do we feel about the computer situation? So this is what the next one is talking about. There are no staff or member only spaces. So they had a big issue with our computers last time. Do we feel like we've improved upon that? Do we feel like we have enough? Like could we do more?
Yeah, but isn't Tony and Mike's desk like staff only?
I feel like all the computers don't even currently get used in regards to doing more. But that's just what I see. Maybe.
The problem was there are computers that members cannot access.
And that is still a thing.
Oh, that's why those aren't being used still?
No, so
We're
like
talking about like the staff computers, like there's no way for members to sign into your laptop or Mike's computer on his desk. So like that's still an issue. This is one of the things that they will probably, because we have an hospice agency that has certain rules.
Oh yeah,
they will
for some
probably
reason we're gonna add.
Yep.
smooth it
Hello.
out a little bit. Want me to go get him? Okay.
So what I put here was member computers have been better distributed throughout the clubhouse. In the membership unit, we no longer have any staff-only computers. There are some computers in other units we are not able to change due to hospice agency requirements. These computers are required for our staff to clock in and out, as well as access certain hospice agency sites. There are laptops and iPads available, and they are used frequently. Do we want to mention anything else? Well, that kind of covers what we talked about.
Yeah. And we are working with our hospice agency on this issue.
And we're also working against more computers.
If we have flourish, we can use those laptops.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
IT continues to push back against Flourish, so I have to join a meeting, I think January 12th, with the IT department, where they're going to demo their version of the thing that they come up with. And I'm going to be like,
What do you? Sounds ridiculous. So I can put that in an area that we can request that they help with, like hospice agency relations towards meeting the standards better. We've had pushback on the IT side of things, trying to get better member access to all computers and laptops, as well as get a clubhouse operating system such as Flourish. Okay. So, has anyone been to training since our last accreditation? They haven't been to like a clubhouse training at a training base. No. Have you had your director's seminar?
that is in March. But in the last 3 years we've done it.
In the past 3 years we have?
Yeah.
Who went? Do you know?
Me, Miranda, and TJ. Miranda is no longer here, so I don't know if that's
When was that? At Genesis?
February of 2020.
At Genesis?
Yes.
Okay. So we do need to work on that. But VinFun has a rotating system for training, correct? Merry Christmas. So like different clubhouses go different years, is that accurate?
Well, now we're just gonna
Budget
go
it
when
out.
we need to, I guess.
Okay. So I think we should plan that maybe for after the end of the fiscal year next year. Like when we're into the new fiscal
It
year.
has to be every 5 years, and it's already been 2-ish. But one thing that Steve has been pushing for is for it to be included in our operational budget. So like, there's like a budget line every year that kind of like rolls over to the next year if you don't do the training that year.
That's nice.
Because it's $7,000. The budget line is only like $2,100 every year.
Auspiciation agency is currently working with director of service to integrate training into budget. No, this is you go to like Genesis Clubhouse in Worcester or a training base, and you go there for 2 weeks. And you stay there, and you basically they baptize you in Clubhouse. They hold you under the water and they shake you a little bit, and then
Basically, just attend the clubhouse every day for 2 weeks, working different units.
I think that sounds like fun for me, but
TJ said it's quite intense.
It is kind of intense, especially because, I mean, at that point, we were not at the point we are now. So the difference between Genesis and us at that point was much starker.
Yeah, and you have to come up with an action plan. So while you're there, you have to come up with a plan about how you're going to improve certain aspects. I'm pretty sure we had an employment action plan, if I remember correctly, Devin, about TEs. Yeah.
Yep.
Amber Weber came. That's when I was recruited. I can't believe that was within this accreditation period that all this has happened. Okay, and then we're working on the advisory board. We kind of don't have much progress on that front.
Not only do we not have much progress,
I feel like we
Jada
have
has
backwards.
retired.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So maybe that's an area that we could get some support. Building and maintaining an an advisory board.
We do have 2 people kind of in the process of being vetted. So we'll see.
Does anyone want to talk about what are our greatest strengths? We've talked a little bit about this before. Should I bring up the strengths that we worked on previously?
Sure.
I don't think.
Community. Environment.
Should I just copy this over there?
Sure.
I mean, we put a lot of freaking work into that, so. Sense of welcoming, social programming, engaging members, on-site pantry, good talent pool, believing people are competent, dignity. I guess since that doesn't technically count as young adults, I'm just going to do varied age demographic. Okay. And then this is what I have for important issues. Starting to outgrow the current space. And our funding is kind of single source. And then these are just things I copied from the other ones. So let's move on to the next sections. The ones where we need the most help. So let's see. So let's talk about the work order day. Is there any work that's not done in partnership with members,
Yes.
and why?
Some of it is just HIPAA related stuff. Some of it is there's no it's not on the board.
Mm. Do you want me to write that? Do we think I should write that? That
Yeah.
some of it's just not on the board?
Some of it is stuff that staff just kind of do automatically.
Is there anything that is a Vincent thing?
I mean, just like the action plan stuff, like writing action plans.
Mm. Training, onboarding training, Relias training. It's not done side by side.
But that's not the work of the clubhouse.
Yeah, or the.
But training and evaluation of staff is the work of the clubhouse.
Yes.
So auspice required training. Not to,
I have an overdue one because I gotta do it.
it's not to say that couldn't be done side by side. Most of it.
I love doing when I worked in Vincent. I
Boring
had
as hell.
access to a ton of
Exactly.
things that I would just do on my own. So that were about all kinds of stuff. I remember doing one on fetal alcohol syndrome
Mhm.
disorders, and that's where I learned like anything I know about it from.
There
it
was-
would be cool actually. It's like you know, if we
I had
could
talked about
offer
that.
for people like, hey, let's do this, on Devin's account or whatever, and we do it together.
There's a great one that I did on the intersection of mental health and intellectual disability.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really cool to do some of those trainings.
Oh, I had a couple of ideas about ideas for like training and stuff.
For staff?
Yeah, like the something like hearing voices. Something like
The
that.
Hearing Voices Network, is that what you're talking about? So advocacy with them, or?
Like to have staff training so that to get them for staff members that have not experienced psychosis themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Understanding of it.
So putting together some different kinds of training.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I took the hearing voices training like twice in the last several years. It was fun. Not.
That wasn't.
And
I mean-
it was helpful though. 'Cause I haven't done it before.
I mean, it's not necessarily helpful in like my job per se, but it's helpful in kind of understanding the challenges that certain people might be having. Like if you're, let's say I'm complaining that like, oh, Nicole's never focused and she's always distracted. I would have a better understanding of why somebody might appear unfocused because, they're hearing stuff. It's not always voices, and sometimes sounds, or sometimes just like, I don't know.
So it doesn't
The training that they had was cool because they just basically gave you a Walkman with a CD that has like random noises, and sometimes it'll be quiet for like 5 minutes, and you'll hear like whispering,
Ooh.
and then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh yeah.
so it would be like a different,
That's good.
yeah. So maybe looking into more trainings. I sent an email to a training, and they said it costs money, obviously, but they do stuff on active support, how to create opportunities for engagement during the day. And so I think building our own training repertoire for the staff. And I mentioned this to Danielle too, maybe even creating some clubhouse specific training that we can share across VinFen. What do you wish you knew in the intake position? What are some strategies that help with employment that are clubhouse specific compared to just overall?
I still have all those papers from Haverhill, which not all of them are necessary to go through. I think there's some extra stuff in there, but there is a lot in there that should be given or talked about in onboarding training. So I could definitely help with that conversation too.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think you have more than 3 at your comedy committee right now. You have more like 5 or 6, I feel like.
Yeah, I pretty much always have at least Peter, so I usually have 3 to 5, I would say.
All right. So it's just asking, I don't know I didn't know where to put these groups, these two groups, because so it says things that focus on illness and disability or ADL matters. I don't think these do, but I don't know where to put them other than this. They're not necessarily work order day. I don't feel like they fall here either.
The writing group, I don't know if the writing group might fit into work or a day just because we're working on something for the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move
Like,
that.
the comedy one, like that's a you know, happiness is kind of like a form of wellness, you know. Like I do understand that it's hard to categorize and like put into words where it would go, but I could definitely argue that it belongs in the, you know, that area, but I don't know.
Well, I'll put them both. I'll put them both over there. Why not?
Yeah.
I feel like they might say we have a lot of groups. Hold on. Oh. So these are all groups. Newsletter committee, is that bi-weekly or
Weekly.
they changed it, I thought.
Oh, it's just Fridays.
I think they
Well, the newspaper is bi-weekly, so why wouldn't it be?
I think it is
I
bi-weekly.
do think that they recently changed the bi-weekly, but they just didn't have a lot to do a lot of
Oh, okay.
So there's no let's just do it, you know.
Purpose of meeting. Can you explicate the purpose of your meeting?
What does that mean?
Can you explain in short and concise words?
Oh yeah. We talk about comedy and play improv games. And
Yeah.
It goes into kind of like self-expression and
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put over here.
And newsletter.
Okay, that's great.
Shouldn't be number ran. Instead of run. Well, no, okay.
No, because we're still doing it. Okay, are there outside staff from clinically oriented programs who visit with members during the work order day?
Not anymore.
Okay, great.
We put a stop to that earlier this year.
So that, yeah, because people come here and then they take a walk. So they have to do that.
If people are meeting with more clinical staff, they do so offsite.
Beautiful.
Hey, I was mentioning to Chloe the other day, you guys should be like social workers.
Technically, we are.
Okay.
Like-
Because Chloe said like you weren't a social worker, but I kind of figured that would be like,
We're doing social work.
well, yeah.
Why would they need to be social workers? Do you think they need more training than they have
No,
now?
I just think it would be a good credential.
Yeah, like you
You know?
I actually probably would be qualified to get my social work license. But I don't
Some of
know
our
if
staff
it
don't
doesn't
even have college degrees.
benefit me in any way.
It wouldn't
I
make
would
him
have to
paid
be
more
A
or
licensed clinical social worker for it to make any kind of real difference.
No, okay.
Yeah, those terms confuse me because I know that like some of them like an official job title, but it's also
Yeah.
a type of work. So it's like, you know, it was social worker. What's the difference between that?
Pretty much anybody who works for Ventec is a social worker.
Yeah. But then it all-
Not
it
everybody's
also has a specific
credentialed.
Job title, credentialed, yeah.
yeah. The work that I feel like they do is that credential gives you more of the clinical side of things rather than the social side.
Rather than so it's kind of more administrative facing than
Yeah, and gives you more like specific information about different disorders and like different situations. So
I know, but I'd like to be able to say, oh, I work with a social worker who is a certified. I don't know.
For what in particular? Because you
Well,
can get
for
linked up.
any of necessity needs that a social worker would provide.
Hmm?
Like for me, I had to work with a CSP worker for housing and stuff like that.
So we
I
can
didn't have
get you
other
linked
things at
up,
all.
like, I mean, part of our job is to get you linked up with people in the community, like social workers. So if you wanted to get a social worker, we can work on that.
You know.
Um,
Well, I don't actually need one right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying in general. No, I just thought it would like sound good for a job title. in
Yeah.
a place like this.
many clubhouses do have social workers on staff.
You know.
I didn't know if that would be, yeah, I guess that's not considered. I didn't know if that would be.
No, I mean, some states have it as a requirement that people that work at a clubhouse have to be a social worker or social practitioner or have some kind of other credential. But here at VinFen, they do a lot of training, I feel like. They train people up to jobs like this. Not always well, but sometimes. Okay, we talked about meetings. In any ways, do we feel like transportation schedules impact people's the length of our work order day? Or do we feel like generally, yeah?
Because a lot of times it's like when people, and the fact that a lot of us are relying on drivers who will show up whenever, like with sometimes within like a half-hour period, like work will be interrupted because people are getting sent home, and like a lot of people go home around the same time, so it's like no one's here anymore until like the end of the work order day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes like I'm the only one here sometimes.
Yeah. And also, there's like a lot of very direct ways that it's like, hey, I'd love to come in and participate in the work every day, but I don't have
Transportation.
But I think that's the thing.
There's
with
always
me. I
an
think
issue
she wanted to come
probably
more
for
often,
every
but she doesn't have the transportation.
Unless they're like smack in the middle of the city. So sometimes the human services transportation drivers arrive up to 30 minutes earlier than the requested ride, and that cuts many people's days short. I mean, it sounds like sometimes they don't even, like, the communication is poor.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're nice and they'll wait, and other times they're like, hurry up.
Yeah, it also depends on the actual driver. But yeah, the scheduling issue is definitely caused by a problem with communication on HST's part.
You know, not even then. Sometimes it's just their schedule. Like, I had them show up an hour early and then like take off on me and be like, you didn't come to your ride. It's like, hey, you didn't show up at your time. Show up an hour early. I'm sorry, I'm not fucking ready yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, but
No,
I
yeah.
That happened with PT1 point before.
Yeah.
And imagine if you were like going to a doctor's appointment and you arrive like an hour early, they're going to be, you're kind of SOL at that
Yeah,
point.
we're at the whims of whoever is taking us places because we do not have access to that it so completely impacts every life part of somebody's life that you don't have that part in the area.
Okay. All right, great. I just typed this in here earlier. If your clubhouse offers to engage opportunities, hybrid virtual, describe how the unit meetings and unit work are discussed. We don't really involve them in the unit meetings, but we do these meetings and they're available and people can watch them and interact. So that's kind of all I said for that. And then we move on to talking about the units individually. And this is a part we had to stop because we had some pushback on certain things from some people. And so we had to kind of stop at one point. But so let's talk about membership. So we have 2 staff. It's you and Chloe, right? That's accurate?
Yes.
And we do intake and enrollment, newsletter, reception and reach out, member services, social media, pet care, long-term planning. Anything else? That's kind of everything.
Question that doesn't matter. What does E&E stand for?
Employment and education.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Well, because it said intake and enrollment, I was kind of like, why wasn't that like E&E?
No, that's I and E.
I know,
Yeah.
I know that. That's why I was wondering what E is.
Yeah. We do our unit meetings.
We're getting better at the morning ones.
We're getting better at the
Not
morning
getting
ones.
better at the afternoon.
No, but that's okay. Progress is progress. Lift the average number of staff present in the unit, the average number of members present in the unit, and the average number of members actively engaged in the work of the unit. So I'd say averaging one staff in here.
I would say so. Most of the time, usually it's just Chloe on the board and not just Chloe and Devin. But I don't even think usually we have 8 people though. I think that's like maybe 5 or less. Like right now, there's
I mean,
4 on
throughout the
board.
morning, yes. Like during the meeting itself, maybe not.
Yeah, but it
There's
doesn't
another
count as the
thing
meeting
is,
of the
like,
day.
people don't even show up until like 10 sometimes.
So this is asking how many members are engaged in the work of the unit on average throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon.
Like 6 or 7.
I had 5 to 8, so
6, 7 is in there somewhere.
because right now 3, 4, and usually this meeting has a little bit more, and usually there's at least 3 or 4 people in here, and then sometimes there's more, which I feel like balances it out. In the afternoon, I feel like this might be high to say 3 to 5.
Yeah, I would say.
Because if me and you and John are in here, that's already 3. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Describe the overall activity level for this unit. Would you say high is accurate?
Yeah, I think we're the most active unit.
Do we have enough meaningful work?
Yes.
Plenty. How are unit meetings utilized to organize and plan the work of the unit? How are unit meetings utilized to foster relationships? This is a tough one. We have an innovative whiteboard with a web style sign up that connects tasks together based on category.
I would say based on core function.
Better. Core functions. This is visually engaging. How do they foster relationships? What about, so the unit meeting, we kind of talk about what everybody needs and stuff like that. I would say one way it fosters relationships is by doing the outreach part of it.
And also, I think when people come together to start planning the day and like saying, oh, we need someone to do outreach. Like, John, could you do that? I think that would be a good, learning others' preferences.
Good call. Okay. Employment and education. How many staff are assigned there? That's 3 now. And what would you say, how many people are in there on any given day
What?
in your unit?
I wouldn't even know. 5? It depends on if you're talking about club versus staff.
Just
no,
members.
Okay, just members. 2,
Oh.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
3.
Sandra's
2 or
always
3.
in there.
Oh,
Say
you're talking about
Sandra's
working.
only 1.
Well, I
Sandra
know,
and
I'm trying to think
Kelsey
of
are
the
the
people that I
2
always-
But I guess-
that think of-
Is
Yeah.
snack bar there, or did snack bar get moved to the kitchen?
Oh, snack bar is there, so I guess 4. I would say 3 to 5.
Okay, general responsibility of the unit. Snack, hold on, let me make this
Doesn't
one.
snack bar be part of that?
If it's on your board,
The problem is they don't engage in morning meetings because they're or the unit meetings because pretty much always Tony and Carlton.
I think the snack bar shouldn't open until after morning meeting. But that's,
No, coffee.
So I'm fine with it being open before the unit meeting,
And then
shutting
close
down from 9:30 until 10.
Yeah, some people want a coffee first thing in the morning. That's kind of important.
but how do we get those people, like, it's not just about having, this isn't a coffee shop, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's important, but how do we get those people more engaged with the work of the clubhouse?
I think what
Yeah,
Dylan
but
said
if you
was
want me to
great.
function, I function better with a coffee. Like, thankfully, I had one in the filter today.
Well, there you go. So you had a coffee before you got here, so you didn't need to use a snack bar. Does that make sense? Like,
you know, I still want to be able to broke.
So part of the problem with having stuff like open before the unit meetings is like we can't just like put it on the board for like, oh, tomorrow I'll be running the snack bar. So
So why not just open it and then shut it for the meeting?
I mean that's what we
Open
should
it
be.
first,
like,
shut it for the meeting, and then.
But
that's
people
what
aren't
we had been doing
interested
until
in
it-
that.
yeah, because the people who are running it are not interested in joining the meeting.
Even though they join it online.
Well, no, I'm talking about like
We can't require people to do anything.
I can require.
If we
the
could,
snack
this
bar
would be
to
a day program.
Shut down from 9:30 to 10.
Something that they do in E&E, what would you call the money management? Oh, cash flow.
Cash work.
So is that a way around it, just changing the hours?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it's not about a way around it. It's more so like those people deserve to be engaged. And right now, it's also a task ownership problem. But that's a whole other can of worms that I don't think we can get into at this meeting. I think that's something we should talk about at house planning is task ownership and how that is bad for people's recovery in some ways. But that's a whole other can of worms.
Nicole needs to let somebody else do the weather.
You know, if someone else wanted to get their elbow deep in the toilet, you know, Nicole might have to let them. But
I don't know about that.
yeah, hey, that's what I'm saying. So do they have a meeting? Should we say they have a meeting if they don't do the meeting?
Do they have
I
any-
mean,
I've never
I
really-
do it a couple times a week, just to keep things fresh.
So yes,
I am in the process of revamping that board.
bless you.
It's just that I haven't had anybody in there helping me with it. So
Technically, it's scheduled.
I mean, I wish there was a way we could support the growth of that unit from here. From like if there was anything we could do in this unit to support that unit.
We can give them things to do.
Well, they have things they should be doing that they're not necessarily
We
doing.
need to be making sure that they're doing the things that they're supposed to do.
I don't think
That's
that they
my
might
job.
be
The authority.
Well, so things like employment tracking people's TE hours, tracking the money they're making on TE. That
They do, they do attendance.
no, we have billing.
One thing with the tracking on how much money people are making, that's kind of offensive to some people, asking them how much they make an hour. Like Danielle was on the phone with somebody the other day.
well, if they want to contribute to the data collection that we are doing to show the benefits of
If
Clubhouse.
you want to, but it's kind of offensive. One rule of thumb is that you don't ask somebody like how much they make.
But we're here to help people with benefits and entitlements, so we have to know how much they make.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's kind of like in
Having-
Well, no,
having that
I'm
information
saying
helps
some people-
everybody.
I know, but I'm just saying a lot of people would find that rude.
Yes,
You know,
I agree that's
it's like religion and politics on that.
But
Yeah.
we also, so in the standards, it also says that members have to be paid the prevailing wage and that we have to prepare reports on their TE placements for their benefits. So both of those require us to know how much they're making.
It is sensitive information, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you also need to be talking about like your specific diagnoses at like a party where you don't know people, but
Yeah.
here it's like that's the like, you know, it's still maybe uncomfortable, but it's kind of like the time to talk about it. You know what I mean?
And you don't have to tell everybody. Like you can, you know, we could anonymize it. Like
Yeah.
we could just, well, when people sign up for a TE in particular, TE is the main thing, not like supported and independent employment, just because that's like the data on TEs can help us get more TEs. If we can say, hey, our members worked collectively last year 600 hours and they made this much. That's why this could be a benefit to your company. Because you could have 600 hours worth of guaranteed work next year.
No, like I understand your reasoning. I just thinking asking how much they make is offensive. Like asking somebody what they do is commonplace. Everybody does that.
Well, salary transparency is actually the law
I
now.
told everybody what I make.
Absolutely. And I'm sure everyone else here would do the same.
Anybody want to? And you make more money than anybody else here.
And I'm technically a public employee, so you'd be able to find out either way.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
He told us.
Okay. Average number of staff in E&E in the morning. I'd say 3, 2.5. Well, because I'd say
Because Tony doesn't count.
he does technically count.
I'm still going to be kind of reminding them that we have a specialist, so that maybe they will push back against FinFET and be like, shouldn't have IPS.
Steve is like in bed with IPS.
I know. And I thought it was like a money thing. Like, we don't get any additional money for that.
No, he just,
He just seems to think that the clubhouse model isn't good enough, and they need to have an outside source.
so what would you say is the average number of members actively engaged in that unit? 1? Maybe 2 on average. Because we'll include,
Yeah, because Sandra and a lot
And like, actively engaged does not mean running the bar,
or necessarily
Why
the
wouldn't that
cash
be
clerk.
actively engaged, though?
because they're not actively engaged.
But they're
They're-
still doing a service,
Yeah, but they're not-
engaging in the community.
They didn't actually even sign up for that task.
It's just automatically. That's passive engagement.
So what would you say is the overall activity level? Remember, this is just
Low.
information gathering. Okay, does it have a good amount of meaningful work?
Yes.
Elaborate.
No, doesn't ask me to. The unit meetings could use some work. Oh, hello.
Pastel.
That's not what I meant. So unit meetings could be improved.
Yes. And I think this is a good place to mention the task ownership.
In this unit in particular. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
They feel redundant almost because the same people are signing up. Okay.
While also ignoring some of the more fundamental
Core functions.
yeah.
You know what? I didn't even put education up here, which I feel like is telling. In fact, I had to go back up here and put education in. Okay. On to
They
wellness.
have plenty of education going on. There's like 4 people in school right
I know. Okay. Average staff assigned to the unit is 2 in wellness. We're moving on to wellness. I'm glad we're getting this done because this was literally pulling teeth to get accurate answers to this. People were getting very defensive about what was happening in their units. And this is just fact finding. Just because there's nobody in there doesn't mean nobody will ever be in E&E. E&E used to be the unit that was popping.
Mhm.
Okay, average number of members who attend health and wellness. I'd say that's pretty high.
Yeah.
This isn't people who participate. This is people who go in there.
Yeah, Nicole, how many people are usually sitting around the kitchen?
I would say about maybe 10
Yeah.
almost.
Over the course of the day.
Yeah. And that's
That
like,
counts the overflow room too. So it's like
Oh, yeah.
Angelina, Karen, Andrea when she's here.
Okay. And so what are some of the responsibilities in the kitchen? What are some of the jobs? Isn't that interesting?
Everybody has a responsibility.
So what are some of the things that need to get done in the kitchen every day?
Cooking, setting up the tables.
Cleaning, facilities, maintenance,
I only see Mel and like Bill cooking.
it is usually.
bathrooms, of course. Bathrooms, of course.
Not in the kitchen.
But that's part of the work that they,
I thought you
yeah.
asked what's going on in the
Wait,
kitchen.
doesn't
Oh, well, that-
side unit count? Because there is a bathroom, doesn't that one over there count in the kitchen?
all the bathrooms are the kitchen's responsibility.
Even that one over there in the basement? I don't know.
I know, because sometimes they don't get done. I can see why you would think
That's
that.
probably why they moved it to the board in the kitchen instead of having it on this board.
No, when it was on this board, we were cleaning that bathroom frequently.
Oh, we shouldn't have to. We can put it on somebody else.
Exactly right. But how do we get that unit to do it is the question. Does that make sense?
Does the health and wellness unit also take care of gardening tasks when that's?
Yep.
Um,
Oh, or beautification, technically.
menu planning, wellness group. Okay. Is there a meeting? 9:45? I know this seems tedious, and I appreciate everybody hanging on with me here. You could have all left me, and you didn't. All right, so average number of staff present in the unit in the morning. And the other one's kind of bopping around. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. I just felt like I don't know who the is it Kevin that you're counting as the other? Yeah, I don't see him in there all that often because he's a general, so that's part of it.
These facilities though, and it's kitchen and facilities.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, so true.
I think we should change the name of that unit to kitchen and facilities, but that's a.
I mean, that's what I've been calling it.
Yeah.
Does it say health and wellness anywhere anymore?
No, I can change it to that.
There, and that's not, this is
I can put kitchen and facilities if that's what we're going with.
I feel like that's what their board says, but I'm not
Great. I love that. So, okay, so what about PM? Probably one staff.
Yeah.
And then, so how many are present? We said like in the morning, maybe like 10, but participating is probably more like 2 or 3.
I feel like PM for staff would still be too because that's when I see Kevin like going around doing the facility.
Oh, yeah, he does a lot of like,
Okay.
I don't know, trash and recycling.
That's true.
And he always gets help.
Oh yeah, the trash is
Mm-hmm. So PM members present more like 4 or 5, and participating maybe 2 or 3.
Well, in the afternoons is usually we do the trash, and that's when they're
Okay.
Well, that's usually John, so.
Peter G also
So
does
we
the
have
trash
John as
now.
well.
So like 3 or 4,
Yeah.
4 to 5. Because sometimes Nicole's working in the afternoon too. Okay. Describe the overall activity level for the unit. I'd say fair.
Fair. Yeah.
Could be better, could be worse. There's nothing wrong with that. Does it have adequate work?
Yes.
Okay. Last but not least. How are unit meetings utilized to foster and plan the work order day?
Fair enough.
Meetings in this unit could be improved
Yes.
to better. I feel like
Again, it's task ownership. It really needs to be a team effort, where it's just the Bill and Melissa show.
hey, that
maybe some
Did
stuff.
that doesn't go against any standards. As long as nobody gets a prize for doing whatever they do.
No, yeah, just like
High five. That works. I think that's legal.
Still technically artificial. You're
That's natural,
creating
bro.
a reward.
That's natural.
Satisfaction of being able to work in the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
One thing. So, as a suggestion on how to improve member participation in the unit is we should have more people who are like signing up for like, I want to make this particular meal and I will take the lead. And you guys all help me today. I used to do that when I was running the kitchen. And Nicole used to help me like every day.
How would maybe I'll put that in the strength or in the improvement. How would you say that? Or like needs improvement?
I mean, I guess I will quote Steve here and say, so he's always talking about process over product, especially in the kitchen where, you know, we do need to serve something at lunchtime or around lunchtime every day. But we also need to recognize that the end product is not the point. It's about, you know, engaging people in making the food. It's about improving people's skills.
Yeah, and also it's like if somebody is making the food every single day and it's always good food, it's always on time. But the way that they're doing it stresses them out so bad and they're burning themselves ragged. That process is like, yeah, it's not worth it. It's like the fact that they're freaking out about it. Okay, we should do something different because the end product is great, but it's not worth it.
And one thing, so there's a bunch of different ways to kind of address this, but one of the things that I think would be the most effective is to kind of standardize our meals so we're not always like, so people know like, here's how we prepare chicken, here's how we prepare turkey, here's how we prepare beef. Like, if it's not just like, you know, Bill tends to do, he cooks the chicken in like Italian dressing, but I've never seen him explain it to anybody or talk about like, here's how much Italian dressing per, you know, pound chicken. So I think maybe the how-to guides would be important there, having Bill kind of explain through the process of how-to guide, like how he prepares certain things.
We could even, if he doesn't feel like, I feel like sometimes when I've talked to Bill about this, it seems like it's not as easy for him to write it down because he is coming up with some of it as he goes. Maybe we can audio record one day of him cooking and just physically explaining it.
Yeah, ask him how he's doing it.
Yeah, like, okay, I put in like a dash of Italian dressing and, you know, even if it's not like perfect measurements. And Rye's done that before. I did an interview with Rye and they were able to transcribe what I had said. But there's also AI programs that can do that as well. Like Otter AI, I think, is a free one where it will transcribe for you what was said. So I think we should get creative and, you know, see every I can't as an opportunity to get creative on how we can make it work for everybody, which I think we do very well here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things we can do to make it kind of more, like, the biggest thing is always the first step. Doing it like something else.
Mm-hmm.
So getting people more confident in their, you know, potential to learn new things.
And I also think that something we've tried to do in the past with varying success is kind of think about what stops people from using the kitchen. Like there's people who are afraid of using knives. So we got some plastic knives that were sharp, but the fear of the knife-shaped object is still there. So I wonder if something like, have you ever seen those things? It's like a rectangle and you put the vegetable in it and then you like, yeah, well, there's that where you put it on and you like slap it and it chops it up. This one, you like put it on top and you smush it and then the stuff falls into a container.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Maybe getting some different kinds of accessible equipment, because something like the chopper, even a slap chop, that can help make some of these tasks more accessible. And maybe that's not the problem, but maybe it is.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we should be looking at our tasks and say, is this beginner friendly? Is this, you know, is this something that somebody who's never done it before should just do? And also, because like a lot of things like that, where like, yeah, could someone, you know, make toast in the toaster first time? Probably, but do they feel confident they can do it. If they don't, if they get nervous about it, they might screw it up. A lot of times people say like, "Hey, could you put that toaster toast?" And we say, "No, I can't do that," because they're just so freaked out that they're gonna screw it up, even though they could do it.
And you and I, we've spoken about that before, like with the vacuuming. You said people were afraid of messing it up somehow, and that prevented people. So that's a good point. Looking into, is it beginner friendly, and can we improve the accessibility of these tasks, not just in the clubhouse accessible as in they're available,
Yeah.
but are they actually available?
Yeah, is it can we make it any less daunting? I mean, can we make it less daunting? Because
Yep.
it's gonna be intimidating, because that's just how it is. But like, can we make it less?
Absolutely. I think that's great. So did we finish that? Yes. Morning. You're here early today. Happy to see you.
Do you know that in the last year, AI used more water than every global water
Yep.
bottle company combined?
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, I stopped using it now. I used
Yeah.
it a couple times, but now I don't.
I use it very minimally. The less challenging the question you ask AI, the less water it uses. I can explain a little bit more about that to you. Hi. So describe how members are involved in each of the following areas. Administration. So I have working with budget, reception, tracking attendance, anything else? Oh, submitting for billing. We help with that. All right, guys. What do we think about any of these?
Orientation, like members typically, if there's a new member, we kind of take them under our wing, or well, mostly like you and Danielle, but
Yeah, is it an official? I don't think it's an official thing that membership does the tours, but usually we do them.
Yeah, we got tours up there.
Okay, yeah, so that's one too.
Would that be intake or would that be orientation?
yeah, toward the part to take.
Would so for reach out, would like where would follow up with new members go?
I feel like that's part of intake though.
Hiring of staff. I mean, we're involved in the process. So when Devin finds someone that he's considering, they'll come in here for an interview where the members will be present, and then we get to vote. We'll be like,
I also, for the last 3 resumes I got, kind of took all the personal information off the top. And
oh yeah, you sharing.
shared it with people to kind of see what their opinions were.
And when we hired Tony, I was in there for a minute.
Yep.
So I was directly involved in one of his interviews.
I didn't even hire them.
Oh, that's somebody else.
It was
Jen. Yeah, me and Jen were spoke to him.
I would never have hired Tony.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we're pretty involved with that. And we definitely have like a say in
Yeah.
person here. There was one, we don't have to write this down, we should write this one down, but there was also a resume where you were like, what do you think about this guy? We're like, we don't want to interview him at all.
Yeah, that one where he worked at the Rottenberg Center,
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the only place left in Massachusetts that still electrocutes autistic children.
First of
Oh
all,
my God.
electrocute means to kill with electricity.
They only shock.
No, if I put a fork in there, I get electrocuted.
Yeah, but that
So
would kill you.
the
Not if it's small fork.
the suffix cute
I don't think the size of the fork
means
matters.
to die, like execute.
Execute also doesn't always mean to die, but like, not.
Well, in that context, it does.
Okay, they Pavlovian condition them utilizing shock therapy, which I feel like sounds even worse.
And the fact that there has been no end of lawsuits and stuff to try to shut it down, and they continue to allow it.
They're the only place
They're
left
in the
that
process
does.
blows my
now
mind.
again.
They've been in the process for 30 years.
It'll be a shame on the name of autism therapy forever. But anyway,
It's not just autism.
oh yeah, it's a shame on all
Yeah,
kinds
it's
of
a shame, all kinds of-
it's a damn shame overall. Anyway, sorry about that little.
Oh, you're gonna make that red?
I will as soon as I zoom back out.
Where is that place?
Evaluation of staff.
It's in Massachusetts.
Canton, I think.
Is it
Judge
like
Rottenberg Center,
ROTTEN?
or TEN.
Yeah,
So
it's
evaluation
on
of
us
staff?
yeah.
What?
Evaluation of staff.
Yeah, how do we evaluate?
I would say we can give our concerns to Devin at any time.
Yeah, what if we evaluate Devin?
That's a good point. How we should be evaluating Devin. Do you want to start right now?
Nah.
I think that-
I do genuinely feel like if I had some kind of problem with Devin that like I wanted to talk to a staff member about, I do feel like I could do that.
Yeah.
If it's, like, Bill or something.
I do feel like this is so these things like evaluation of staff and is something that I think is a place where we can grow. Maybe we can connect with Genesis about that and see if they have any staff evaluation forms, because we do that survey through VinFin, and DMH is also coming up with a clubhouse specific satisfaction survey.
Yeah, but what do we call the person above Devin's pay grade to evaluate the staff?
We
Like,
can, if you want his number, let me know.
Okay.
Maybe his number should be posted, or his contact information. Maybe not his phone number, maybe his email.
I'm not sure that we could, but I don't know that many people would be.
That's true.
Well, if
No,
you know
I don't
that
think we're gonna need
like the format for VinFin email addresses is last name, first initial, and you know his name is Steve Lemaster,
That's true.
you can email him. It just gets weird when somebody's last name is Smith, because then you have to go, like, sometimes the first, like, 3 letters of your first name.
Not blood.
Nope, it would be only blood,
See your boss, Alan?
Mm-hmm.
for now.
Um,
I mean, his boss.
So advocacy, I feel like we've been a part of the Mass Clubhouse Coalition meetings more.
We really should make that like a regular part of our Thursdays.
Oh, they have meetings every Thursday.
Is it every Thursday, or is it
We get
3
some
Thursdays a month?
we get some of those emails to the mailbox, and then I always add them to the calendar and CC Mike, but I'd love to get all of them. Maybe we can get Tom on that. Any other advocacy?
What do you mean by
Whatever.
like us advocating for what?
In what ways are members involved in advocacy at the clubhouse? Whatever that might mean.
I mean, we do work with there was like a situation recently where like a group of members were like, you know, there was an incident and the members were like, we didn't like how that went, and we spoke together about like what do we want to say, you know, and then we went together and spoke together. Like that was like we do advocate for ourselves and for each other, and we help like support people and encourage them to advocate for themselves.
So members work together to advocate for clubhouse and member needs within the clubhouse? Great. Is there anything else we'd like to say on any of these here?
What research? I'm kind of with word research. I think we do a lot more research stuff because we look up how. I think we look up. We've been looking up like stuff for our future. We research things that we want to get. We've researched buildings, and I don't know if members do this, but I know that we, in the past, have had members that were doing a task looking up nearby housing. I don't know if we've been doing that recently, but that's been done now.
Yeah, no, that's
I
great.
mean, yeah, people have housing needs, like Isley's helping now because she needs to use this wood. Not a lot of available affordable options still.
No.
She saw one apartment that apparently was a good crap.
I think that's good.
I think orientation we could be a little bit better with. Typically, we find out kind of people's goals and then
Ask
they don't
questions
work
about
on it or
interest.
anything.
What?
Ask questions about interest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a smarter way to put it.
Rather than through just like Devin and Chloe going in the office and being like, you know,
Yeah.
do you like this? Are you good at this? Like we kind of do it more.
Yeah, we don't need to hand them a check sheet. Be like, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
We kind of just develop that through the relationships.
Yeah. Like, oh, what are you looking for? What do you like to do? Blah, blah, blah.
And I like to give people some space when they're new, like to kind of let them, get a
Well,
feel
yeah, you
for
gotta
everything.
at the beginning. Like, when I came in here, I just sit here and not do anything, quiet, and I started interacting with them.
We will
We
sometimes,
shouldn't let people settle in
Yeah.
that passively.
But some people might need it though.
Yeah. Give it a shot and then see.
You know?
We have to have high expectations of what our members are capable of.
Yeah, but like when I first came in here, it wasn't like I could just jump in and get things.
No, I aggressively engaged you.
Yeah, basically.
The
Yeah,
whole
but if
time.
it wasn't for you, I'd probably still be sitting here doing it.
And that's because I didn't give up. I knew you weren't ready, but I still said hi to you. I still asked about the things we spoke about. Like, so I think there is something to say about like meeting people where they're at and going slow, but also like not giving up if someone's not engaging with you, because it did take you a while to warm up. It takes everybody a while to warm up, especially if you're mentally ill in a place you've never been with, 90 other mentally ill people. Positive peer pressure. That's great. I'm not going to write that because it sounds bad, but
No, it's active engagement.
all right. And so let's just finish up by saying, what are our greatest strengths in this area of the standards? This work order day, this whole thing about the
Our
units.
greatest strength is that we have meetings like this to evaluate how bad we are.
I think one of our greatest strengths is that the mutual respect between members and staff and everybody. I feel like it's so rare in like a mental health space to have multiple staff members where none of them are like see us as like freaks or rats
Yeah.
or something, Like I don't like it when
Hello.
people like what's that?
Hello. Nice, thank you.
Nice. I know what's in there.
Is Angel Tree cards?
How come you only got 9 and we got 77 at Cove?
We only have 77 members.
We do have 77, including
We
inactive.
have 110 members.
How come you only got 9?
Because it didn't say get all of your members cards. It said members who wouldn't have any
Oh.
other. I did that one before.
Well,
Members with higher needs.
okay. So mutual respect between members and staff in completing the work of the clubhouse. Okay.
Should I have just submitted everybody?
I guess so.
And I would say that that's a very valid point because in speaking with someone who happens to be somewhere, who's literally telling me that she remembered a staff person was amazing the last time, and now is mean,
Same
is
person.
angry,
Mm.
not part of the good part of the team. And she can totally see the difference between each shift, their happiness, their pleasantness, their helpfulness, all of that. And that's a huge factor. And I would say that is extremely relative based off of where I've worked in the past in working with mental illness or even the substance abuse individuals. That it matters for someone to feel like everyone is always going to be there for them.
Yeah, we give people. I feel like people feel listened to here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what?
Generally, by members.
I feel like we have a lot of meaningful work that is being completed. It's not just like we're thinking about it. It's like, especially in here, there's a lot of meaningful work, like reach out and things like that.
I think the fact that we're largely non-punitive, like we're not trying to punish people. When there's a problem, we just say like, hey, can you take some space, and then come back later.
Non-participation is not punitive in any way.
Also, like even when somebody does like break a rule or something, we don't try to like punish them. It's like I want you to understand that this is inappropriate and that there are consequences. It's not for the purposes of you did something bad, so now we want you to feel bad.
Okay, I think that would go up here. That non-participation and behavioral issues, is that what we're going to call it, or other member issues?
Interpersonal issues, maybe. Well, because it's not always interpersonal. Sometimes it's just behavioral.
Behavioral related issues.
I would say, like, we're cultivating an environment of respect, so maybe any like disrespectful behavior or unexpected behavior.
Yeah, I guess I would say behavior that goes against, the values.
Is seen as an opportunity to engage in constructive conversation.
Yeah. Education. Grow together.
Rather than a punitive course of action. Wow, we're really giving them a lot of work. So right now this document's 46 pages. The one I read for the clubhouse I just went to was 77 pages. So we're all right. We're not quite done, but all right. I'm gonna cut it off there. We're already over time, but we got way more done today than I was even thinking. We have to do. I need a list of everybody who's working, and I need like.
Don't we already know? We know who's working.
Everybody who's got a job right now?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the people.
No. All right, goodbye, people on the live, which was nobody today. Thanks for being here, Nicole.
Mine might be